Okay, so this is like another art stream, and and I have some quick thoughts, and I usually try and like start something like these videos with like a few minutes. I want to make it rather short, but here is what I think about today, and as I like sit down to make art. And what is the purpose of art? Is it to move the audience? Is it to some like please yourself or live up to your own standards, or something like work on what you want to work on or you think is important? Is it then to either be very successful or win important awards and like make a ton of money perhaps? Is it to connect with other people around the world that you make art? Or is it to set a good example among the creatives, or something like you could say painters and technical artists and coders, and in the case of video games not so much coders but effects people and so on? What is it? And I'm not really sure what the answer is, but I think these are like good questions, and in my opinion, all five could be the truth, and why you should make art, and sort of like a good enough reason for making art. But I don't know what you think, and anyway, so that's just sort of like what I think about as I like sit down and like try and make some art today. And let's see here. I've begun with apologizing, and we need to go into texture so we can like see sort of like here. And I don't want to go too much into what I have built already, but I enjoy building stuff so that I capture something like the musculature, and in a sense I can't fully capture the muscle of the character as such, but for this character, for instance, I want something like a bulge, or something like the shoulder blades to somehow stick out here. I want there to be like a bulge here, and the sort of like topology here allows me to do that. And then there's some stuff that I want to add, but I also want there to be sort of like a cut in here, basically. And then I want something like a few bulges here, something like I don't know, but I can perhaps just show here. Go into sculpting. Here we go, and click here, and let's just why can't I? Is it like where is it? I forgot to click right. Oh yeah, I clicked the wrong. Oh shit. Let's go sculpting here. I want there to be something like a bit of a padding here. It's sort of like a bit exaggerated, but I just want there to be a sort of like bulge here somehow, like it just sticks out a bit there, and then I want basically for the for that to be something like a dip here, and then the shoulder blades sort of like point out like a little bit more to create something like this shape here, right? So and this is a bit exaggerated, but let's see here from the side, but something like that, basically, where there is a bit of like a bump, you can say out here, and then a lesser one here, and somehow to build something that so I can just sort of like quickly see the ideas and like what it is I'm trying to do here, and so that the loops somehow go rather circular here, and that also helps the shadows look nicer. This isn't really necessary, it's just something like to get this sort of like more primitive, or sort of like half used, but the sort of like smooth shading as it were working. And there's something else I can add here, just so I have like a little bit better overview of what I'm working on. So I like to apply materials just sort of like as if it doesn't really matter while I'm sculpting in Blender. While if I like had to like have like a ton of materials or something like in the video game engine, it'd be a problem because you know, each material I think requires a different draw call, so it basically has to like render the character multiple times. For something like the more materials there are, the more times you have to somehow render the character. So that isn't the most effective if you wanna you know have like good frame rates. But in Blender, which isn't the video game engine that I'm trying to create something for, it doesn't really matter. If it's just like one character, it's not gonna matter. But if, for instance, I have 100 characters in a video game, it's gonna start to like add up. But anyway, so what I want to do now is I want to try and like continue the retopology, and though this might look rather simple, it's basically what I want in terms of something like the basic topology, and that's sort of like that. so I can basically get started. And one of the ways that I think is like the easiest to something like get started on is basically go into sculpt mode, because sculpt mode can of course be used for like high poly sculpting, but you can also let's see here, you can sort of like move the character in like in quite a few ways in something like this sort of like mode here. And for some reason, I find it relaxing and rather fun to retopologize stuff. So it's a part of the process of making art that I find very enjoyable. So I don't really want to skip that, but I want to like try and just get started. And to get some free polygons, I can just select these two edges and press E and extrude, and then extrude again. And I have disabled snapping. So I want to click here and enable snapping to surface, and then here to face, and then project individual elements. This is normally turned on. So if, okay, let's see here. So now I can just press these two here, press X and delete these faces, and I have these sort of like two standalone polygons here. So what happens is you can notice that this is like made up of taking a point here, and a point here, and a point here, and a point here. And if I, for instance, click here and here, and I don't click project individual elements, it just sort of like treats this as like one plane that sort of like sticks out, and basically just one point sticks to the surface, right? But if I click sort of like project individual, all the 8 points stick to the surface. So it's sort of like probably what you want if you want the stuff to like follow the surface here. And let's see here, and for now I know that for the result that one of the things I want to work on here is I want to add 4 polygons here, and this is just sort of like artistic thinking, or like what do I want, what do I think is like a good result. And I'm not really sure if this like makes sense, but I just know that this is something that I think will make the character look good, and so like then I'm gonna like try and like add that even if it isn't like the best topology. Then I like select these 4 here and press XF, and again now I have these. Let's see, I just press L here. Let's see, does that even work? L, and now I can like move these down here, and notice that again it projects individual elements. And I think for now, just to get started on like retopology, I just want something like this. And now the question is what to add after this. And what I think is that I want to move this down here, and I want to move this down here. And now I want to try and like make the topology sort of like curve around a corner here. And just sort of like try and capture this stuff here like this. And I'm not sure I want it to go in here and just sort of like that I think that this is gonna create something like a good enough result, and I just sort of like want these to move in here. And I'm not sure that these are connected fully in the middle, but now they do. I just select here and I connect with F. If it's sort of like F, I think means fill the gap. So you just select 2 lines on either side and press F to fill, and just sort of like then that happens. And here the question is, I think it's gonna be good enough if I just sort of like do like this, and here, and here. And I perhaps don't want 3 points here, and here I want just this to go into the middle, and I want 2 here. And now I can move these in here, 2, 4, 5, and basically press select 2 edges and press F to connect them with a plane, or sort of like a square, I don't know what you want to call it, and it's sort of like a polygon square. And here, and here. Good. So now I can press X and sort of like make this hover just a bit in front of the character, and sort of like check for errors. X in sculpt mode here. G is grab, and X is like build or add volume, but it sort of like pushes the stuff like a little bit forward. So I just sort of like smooth this here, and I think this is gonna be good enough. And for now, this is gonna for this character, this is gonna be an acceptable result. And I want to clean up and remove like some of all of these points, but right now it's not really necessary, and I can sort of do that later. And the question is what I want to happen here, and I'm thinking that a good way of using these points to create something like the last shape here is to sort of like move them in here, and I can just quickly add another line here and clean this up later. And again, going to sculpt mode and just make it push it out a little bit, as it were, and make it hover in front of this. If I press, I can press 1, 2, 3 to move between select polygon, select edge, and select the face. So if I press 1 and I select this polygon here and press E, I just get a sort of like line, or extrude a line, and then I can connect these and just press F, and it's all like it connects, you know. So for some reason this to me is a rather relaxing activity, and I like something like slowly building stuff, and that's all of that, and it's all like to see like the result, and if I can get slowly better at this all like topology stuff. So now what I want is to like start adding the different colors, so I can see what's happening here. And there is something that goes there, and it's actually a rather good idea. Let's just make it where it is. Let's make it red, and here, and let's just make it blue. And I want there to be 2 here, and I think that that's sort of like gonna smooth it in the way that I want to, and now I can basically you know get this sort of like shadows from these sort of like abdominals quite easily, and the question is now here, what do I do here? And I have these sort of like extra polygons here, and I can like connect this here and here at least, and I guess that the best answer is to just sort of like, this will be good enough. But I technically like to add like quite a few anatomical details, just sort of like for fun, and because I think the final model tends to look nicer that way. But this is like acceptable. And then we have like a pole here, so I just press here and control to hold control and click to somehow select quite a few polygons. And then for now I just sort of like want to move this out like this, and here, and so now I have like something that at least somewhat should capture. Let's see here, like what is wrong here. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's because the green model doesn't really follow the topology for like the upper. So now we have this, and I can like just sort of like sculpt these sort of like more these details later. So now the question is, but I think that I want to go here, and here, and here. Anyway, I just sort of like enjoy building stuff, and it's sort of like rather relaxing, so some like make some good retopology. And what I can see now is I want to go to grab brush, and something like this. And then something else that I want to add is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Have this and press X. So click here, and we can just all like let's make this green. And what I want is some sort of here, and for this to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, and 8. Something like that. And for now I think that's sort of like good enough. Then that goes here. This can be placed a little bit here, and then this goes here, and this goes here, and then this goes here, and another line here. And here it might make sense to and then there is the matter of this, and we click here, and where I think that I want and this, and this to try and like capture something like the shape of the hip up here, and then and click here. And then for this to like curve in here, we can like do like this. Does like this, and it's somehow a matter of creating these bands, or you could say loops around the character where you want them, and there's all like where that makes sense. So for instance here, see if just add another line here, just so I clean this up later, and it's quite easy to remove extra polygons later. So I can move this here. And select this loop with Alt click, and so now we have an area here that I want to be a bit careful of where I place. We have this here, and let's change the color of this. Let's just make it dark gray here, something like this, so I can keep track of these. And so now I have now the question is where I want. So I have these that sort of like go here, so they go here. Then I have some loops that go here, and then I have some loops here that sort of like go differently. So so now the question is, if I do like this, and move these here, it's like this, and here, and let's see. Okay, here. So now both of these go this way, and I can like move them into place later, and try and like capture, in a sense, the curve of the hip here, and then also something down here, and perhaps you can like just move like this, like here, and it's like here, and so for now, this is sort of good enough. And so to like make sense of like how you connect all this, you sort of like sometimes have to move the points, so it's like a bit easier to see. So now I move this up here, and it should something be, and then here, and you can start to see that it's some like connecting into something like the shape of you know, of the anatomy. I'm sort of like capturing that rather well with the topology, and I think that sort of like makes sense. And it's also a way of like, you don't have to learn anatomy that much, you just sort of build it where you can get away with that, and skip somehow learning actually a very difficult sort of like class in most art schools. Anatomy is actually very difficult to learn. It's also something that they learn in medical school, where it's like a very difficult exam to like get good at all that stuff, and to learn the Latin names of you know, all the muscles and the bones, so you can like make a 3D character. So let's see here. I suppose just make this green, and now I can like see that one of the errors is that this here is just sort of like supposed to be moved out a bit here. And I can also just move the, I think I can remove the arms. Yeah, what was this? Keep this, yeah. And I just want to move this up a bit because I want to try and capture this sort of like anatomy here also. These sort of like, there should be something like a mild bulge here. So I'm not sure how I'm going to place the lines here, but ultimately you can only like approximate stuff like this with topology, but you can somehow make something, a base mesh, something like that, and you can add textures and stuff to that, so it looks really nice. Even with like smooth shading, you can get a rather nice result that way. It's all like my goal right now. Also because I just think it's like fun building stuff somehow. This here goes here. So like start. So one of the advantages is that you unless you like start pulling the polygons so they are somewhere like in the right place, you can see that I want it somehow to start tapering down. So I probably want for now just to something like get the points out here and here. So now I have this, and you can do it like this, it doesn't really matter, something like the shape here. And so now the question is what to do here. And what I want to do is click here, whoops, here, and to first move something like this, and then something like this, and just do like this. And I want to give this a different color, and it's sort of like a bit difficult to explain, but I hope that this will let's make it red here. that this will give me some extra points when I like start in a sense pulling down the legs or something, like the more just vertical tube for, like you could say, the legs. And there's also over here where, so like how I'm gonna build that. And what is it that I want to do here? Let's just start by at least some like we can like try and like connect this here. And so like a bit weird, but if you don't finish this, you need to you know, do stuff like this to make 3D models. So now we have this. So now we're here, and here, and I can't select that here because I'm like in mirror mode. So let's see here. So now we have some points. We can start building something here, and I'm rather sure that I want it's just like this, something like to and so for now, this and this, and then so now there are several things we can try and do here, but I think that move this here, here, and here, and just fill the gap. And I'm thinking that that is probably good enough to just sort of like go across here, basically, and here, and here. What was it here? So now I have something like a loop here all the way around, where in theory I can start pulling down the leg. But the question is, you know, what's then to do here? And I want it to bend really well. So one option is to make these sort of go down here on the outside and then connect there. So I think what I'm gonna do is here and here, and then for these to sort of like swerve down here, and here, and then here. Here. And there we go. And it's here. And here. So this was like something that I wanted to try and build and just sort of like to see what happens. I'm not sure that this is particularly good retopology and like how I'm going to connect the rest of the points, but I just wanted today, my goal was to like try and like sort of build this and then see if this gets good or not. And I'm not sure, but it's something like more to have fun, and then somehow I find it relaxing to just sort of like work on retopology and connecting points like this. So here, now the question is, do we pull this back? And here. Now we have this. And I think that I want to move this up just a little bit. You said it's a little bit like building something, and it's all like also solving math problems live. And I think that's all like very fun, and it's all like why I think I like topology really. It's like sit and like do stuff like this on the computer, I guess. And then what we can do here is we can start, I think, pulling this down. Yeah. So we get like a clean line to something like extrude the, you know, the legs from here, and we just sort of like this in, and yeah. So why do this? And the simple answer is that now I have something like, you could say, when I select this loop here all the way around now, and when I extrude this, I just want to like disable magnet or snapping, because otherwise it's just all like, so now I can sort of like press E and extrude something like the entire leg, and if I press Z and I press 0 here, it sort of like turns it into something like this. And then I can sort of like press E again and just sort of like scale it in, and so in a sense roughly and rather fast get something like the legs. And then here, whoops, what is it, oh yeah, just sort of like add like how many I need to like finish the legs here. And now I just sort of like smooth these down and sort of like shape them into place. So if I just smooth, it will somehow start placing stuff, you know. And then I just sort of like, once I have like an inside the model, you can say, I just start something like sculpting down like this. And here. And here. So, not bad. And let's see. So that was something like an example of rather fast and I'd say a good topology. What I want to do now is I just need to check where do these go. These go under here. What I want to this. Let's make this green here, and this. I don't know. Let's make this white here, and I guess blue. I don't know. And it's supposed to look like Princess Mononoke. It's like this famous anime drawn character. So I want some white because it looks like she was like drawn on paper somehow. There was quite a bit of white in the character. It's like a really famous anime from like way ago. Perhaps some like the most famous anime ever. At least from something like the early years of something like anime culture. And now I can see here. So what I want is, you can see that these are actually being stretched quite a bit here at the top. So I want to replace some of the, the polygons on the leg. I'm just smoothing to something like push this stuff down and to get more points here, and sort of like, and I'll have to check if there's like too many points here or if I can do something else with them. Right now they all go here, and the idea is that these bands here, when I like start moving and kicking and in a sense stretching the legs, there will be quite a few polygons that will somehow allow me to something like move and so like shape move and some like shape the legs when I start animating them so they look better. So there is a ton of like polygons here, for instance, where when she moves the leg forward, all these polygons are gonna stretch. So it's sort of like a matter of trying to get but this is sort of like too many here, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna. You can see that now there's like way too many polygons here, and I'm sort of like getting a sort of not the best stretch here, I'd say. So I don't want these to go much more down to this. I want the line to basically go over something like, so it makes sense that it in a sense follows the shape of the leg here. And what I could do to push it down instead was basically to add some points here, but for now I'm gonna keep this as a good enough result for now, and the shape that I sort of like really want to try and catch or capture with the topology is sort of here. So again, I'm just gonna let's just select the here. Select the line here, remove it out. I need to be in click snapping. Now we have it here, and then we move here, and we just select the first face here. And now we have like a floating face here, so we can just sort of like start building stuff elsewhere and then sort of connect it later. So let's just do like this and move this out a bit. And here. And here. Now this goes here. So And I'm thinking that that somehow this needs to go here. We can like it'd be cool if I could does this go here? So I'm gonna try like and this goes here and this goes here. So for now I'm just gonna divide this and connect it here so it doesn't take up a crazy amount of polygons. And I need to move this here. And let's just sculpt it all out so I can see where the stuff is. And click here. And so I basically want this, all of this just to be punched a bit more in the middle, and it should be good enough. And so now I have sort of like I can like capture this here with the smooth shading, and then the question is now where do I add this? And I'm thinking that that the answer is that this basically just connects here, and then I will have to somehow build this here this way. And here, and we can connect this here now. Here, just add like this so we can like see what's going on here, and just sort of smooth this down. And there are like way too many points over here, but the question is what I can do about that. And the simple answer is to remove this sort of like first blue here, or just sort of like make this 2. And well, what I think could sort of like work was just sort of like just sort of like move this in here, and so like down here, and I guess I might add some points here, and so it goes here perhaps. Press G, so you can like grab and just like move stuff, and some like shape, get an idea of the shape, and then I guess at least here. Why can't I? Okay. So we move this down here. And here. And I got one here, a line for now, and here. So now there are 3 lines here, which is a bit much, but let's just end. Alright, so it says 1, 2, so we add this here, connect this, and pull this out, or sculpt it out. Let's see. So I think it's easier to just sort of remove. We're gonna and just on it. So there's something about this that somehow doesn't work, where I want this all like this line should in a sense cut here, and it's more simple like cutting here, and that's not a good result. So I'm not sure what I have done wrong here. I can like try and move this further down, and I think that might be the answer, and just sort of like yeah, that I think that's the answer. And then here sort of do the same, and here and here, and for now looks better. And we go here, and so now the question yeah. So where does this go? And I'd say that it just sort of we go here, and now the question is what happens here. And technically it should sort of can you explain to me why I can't select anything? Oh, here we go. And then here, and then here, and then here, and here, and here. Here. I'm gonna try and make this work, because you can't capture all simple like these sort of like sculpted details in, as it were, low poly stuff. I don't know what you call it, but this sort of a retopo mesh can't capture details that good, and you're gonna have to like settle for yeah, I don't know what to call that, but sort of like the limitations of what you can capture just sort of like with polygons. That's just sort of like the way it is, and to somehow make the most of that. And if you want to make something like this look really nice, you need something like normal maps and textures. Normal maps and textures really make something like 3D models look much nicer. So that's something like the next step, trying to make something like how to use textures and normal maps to capture all these details and sort of like make the 3D model look like something like the more detailed sculpt. There is, from what I know, no other way, so you just have to like get used to or get around to like learning that sooner or later. And it's not that difficult to bake normal maps in Blender. I have a plugin that helps me do it a bit faster, but it's something that you can like learn like watching a few tutorial videos. That's like enough to get started. And so you might say that, hey, you built something that's wrong, just delete everything. But the entire point is that once you start building something and you start moving stuff into place and where it's sort of supposed to be, then it's much easier in a sense to fix the errors or even like make sense of where they are. And what I'm thinking is that now that this here, so we're just gonna move here and here. And the more you put things into place, the easier it is. Oops, and he's got connected in the middle. Whoops, and we press E. Now we should have some more in here. And I'm just gonna have to like try and like capture this detail here as nicely as I can. And then the way I can do that is, if I'm not mistaken here, I can so like move this down here, this down here, and then the only way to sample like capture this over here without using a ton of polygons is to continue this all like rather weird loop I have here, and then I should be able to whoops. For now, this is gonna be good enough. If I want to, I can like bake it to a normal map now, but this isn't ideal, and there probably are ways of making this look much nicer, but it somehow gets the job done, and at least it's better than I would say nothing, right? And I just want to connect this here, this here, this here, and here, and here, and now we have this. And it's like so all connected as it should be. And I think I just move these over here. And what's left is to sort of connect these here, where I think that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So just make 4 here. And for now, I just sort of move 1, 2, 3, 4, and just move that, and go into edit mode. We connect these, and let's see here. Oh, too many, right? And here, and here, and here. And now I want to see here, and these go down here. I think it's better to delete some of these here, and when I have this here enabled, this here, if I don't have this enabled, if I slide it, oh, let's see here, I press GG, I can slide it into something else, but it doesn't disappear. But if I, let's say I need to disable snapping, and then if I enable this, in a sense, it merges points that somehow gets pushed together. So now it removes some of the points. And then we move this here, and move this here, and let's just So just let's smooth everything down and see what happens. And it's usually rather nice when something like when you smooth stuff back, it just sort of like roughly has the right shape or like what you wanted. So that the more you smooth stuff and just sort of like build stuff back, the more it looks like just sort of like what you want the 3D model to look like when you're done. And that's sort of that, right? There's here. So just smooth it in. And for now, this is like something I can like work with this. And let's see here. Good for her. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be enough. And we can like clean up these. There's like a ton of loops here, but we can just all like remove some of them later if they're like if they don't connect as they should or all that stuff. Like for instance, there's like too many here now. It doesn't matter. We can just remove most of them later. Usually, when we start smoothing, we can like see and start looking at where are the loops. It will somehow make sense after that. You can basically just sort of like start smoothing stuff everywhere because there's like points everywhere. It's just sort of like smooth. Just build it back until it's like roughly in place, and then just sort of like move this down a bit, I guess. But it isn't really important. And I just want something that when I, in a sense, kick the leg forward, there's something like gonna be a ton of points here that are gonna like help in sort of like for now. So now I have like simple like a good enough mesh, some like some retopology stuff. I just like remove this. I think it's just like easier to see what I'm like gonna work on later. Yeah, and here, yeah, let's just click here. So, where is it? White? And here. So this is like a good enough result, and then I can like hit a bigger normal map on top of this, and that should look really good. And you can't really do much more than this with these so like from poly building, but I like somehow getting a really good base, you could say a basic poly build, and then to add some more like textures to that later when I like feel like I really got the character and in a sense what I'm trying to like make in the theater almost captured in something like let's see here and here and we'll do like this, and for now this is good enough. And for there's a ton of polygons that are like too many here, so what I want to do is I want to like carefully go over. Okay, I have this, I want to keep this. I have these here, there are 3 here, and I only want probably 2 here. So I just enable this and I disable snapping and press GG, and then I can sort of like start moving the points like this, and I just sort of like move them back. And then I like slowly, after I have added too many, you could say these loops here, I just basically go over where are there too many and how can I as well optimize and start removing them. And that's rather easy when you use these loops and squares to build everything. For instance, I can alt click this edge here and I can like see, okay, so where does this go? I don't really need to delete this, I don't really need to delete this. And again, I can constantly check, for instance, where does this go? It just goes down here. This is like an acceptable result, and it's probably gonna be something like for the foot, and where can that go? But I can probably connect that to somewhere later. For instance, if I'm a bit smart, once it goes under the foot, it can just sort of like connect to this, and then it will like stop here, so I can basically start planning sort of like what loops I'm gonna connect. And then for instance here, let's just see here and here. For now, let's just make it, oh no, what do we add in that white? Dark green is probably the only answer that's left. Blue, red, I guess yellow is like all that's left. So we can try and somehow add this and start smoothing this stuff in. And again, there is a rather severe curve here, and this is usually bad news. You want the sort of like points to connect in you can like start moving this in here, but this is like almost easier in what do you call it, after you apply the mirror modifier to get that sort of like detailed because what do you call it? It doesn't really sculpt that well towards the middle of the character. That's sort of why, because of the mirror modifier. So it's here in the modifier, the wrench stuff. So I can like apply that, and now I should be able to sculpt this here much more easily. You can see now it sculpts it sort of differently, and so like I can start. Since creating the ass crack, and there's also the crease brush, which is very useful on for like sculpting stuff on and let's just sort of like move everything in a bit here, here, and I think it's shift. So now so basically you sort of like crease brush stuff to get something like the creases. And also here under the legs, it's quite useful to somehow get the, so you can sort of pretty much sculpt the low poly mesh and get something like the final result that way. And there is some stuff here you can see where this yellow line here is stretched not in the best way, so I'm not really sure what to do about that now. But let's see. So let's press 1.9 here from behind. And what I want is for this to go here, and then basically here. And I think good enough, but probably just make it go up a bit here. And then there's here. And it's sort of like about the advantage again is that once I look at these shapes here, for instance, you have like the blue shape here, and I can sort of like say, well, all right, where do I want that to be on the model, and sum total technically I want this to just go up a bit more like this to create something like the final result, and then for this to go just out a bit here, and then basically for it to something like cut in vertically here, and use these points here to build the rest here of I don't know, this, the whatever you call it, the ass crack or something like that, chicks, I don't know what they call it, the buttocks, I guess you should call it, on the chicks, and press 1 and 9 here, so that's starting to look nice. And again here there is I don't want this much stretching. Here there is something that I don't like, the way that this has been done. I'm not sure what I can do here, but I could add more points here, but that doesn't make sense. So let's just go into side view. So where do I want the different things here? And I want this to sort of go here, and then I want this to basically go in just a little bit like this, and for this to just be placed. So these here are something like visual markers, these zones. If everything was just all like one color, it'd be difficult to like see where is each one of them supposed to go, and so like get an idea of the final character. But when you can see this, you're something like, yeah, and I know something like I want this stuff here to something like just go up just a little bit and capture the hip here. And there's all this stuff here that I can like see that I perhaps want to push this a bit forward, or what I'm supposed to do here, and so like I can capture the shape that I'm interested in capturing here, and so on and so on and so on, and here. and then for now I think so, like to get a break, because it's like been long. The idea is to make something like Kristen Bell, Kate Moss, and Princess Mononoke, if you don't know who that is. Let's see if we can find this here. Kristen Bell. Let's see, I don't know if she's like, but Kristen Bell. She's somehow rather famous, and she's been in some movies, I think, and she's sort of like one of those funny chicks. She somehow tells jokes and so on, and she's quite good at theater, perhaps. And she's kind of hot, and I just sort of like found a reference. Then there's Kate Moss, where I want so like the face, Kate Moss smile. I want Kate Moss's somehow face on the character, because she also looks a bit like Princess Mononoke. So those are like the three references to make something based on those three. And this is like from Princess Mononoke, she's called. Sort of like it's an anime character. Perhaps it's easier to see if we get some fan art. The actual character, it's an anime character that somehow is from a very famous. Let's see here, face. It's someone that's from a very famous. I don't know, anime. What do you call it? I don't know. But it's sort of like a famous anime character that has something like a rather unique look, with a sort of like rather pointed chin somehow, a rather anime design somehow. There's this, but not really. But it's all like it's from an anime, and they tend to have like weird designs. But something like here, for instance, and I don't know. But it's like an anime where they look like a bit anime design, and I want to try and capture that, and sort of like somehow get that with something like Kate Moss. She looks somehow like a bit like anime, I think. And then Kristen Bell, from especially like this reference here, which I think is a rather cool party girl, like ready to shake up the town. So I'm like, take on all the boys, get all the popularity, see what happens, and so on. And she looks really cool, I think, and she's a rather great actress. So those are like the three references for the character that I'm working on. And for now, that's sort of that. And let's just, I think I want this to here, and here, and I'll have to see if I can make a 3D dress for this chick. I'm not that good at clothing stuff in 3D. I don't. That's something that I need to learn, I guess. And let's see here. And the boots are supposed to sort of, I guess, go like that. Now they're fucking massive. And let's just see here. I don't know, something like that. And then some sort of like cool princess dress for this character. And somehow I think this is a rather nice result for now. And the sort of like shapes some like help me capture sort of like it's technically a queen that's trying to like run a kingdom that's been attacked by monsters, something like in a horror movie, and sort of like in a Dark Souls monsters, you can say. And I'm not entirely happy with everything yet, and I'm not sure if I should. I can move this down here, but somehow that isn't the answer. And just to somehow capture the shape with polygons. But at least it's all like getting better. And there is this crazy stretching here, this in a sense bend in the 3D here, this here that I don't think is that good, and I don't know what to do about that for now. But what I'm thinking is that this here shouldn't go down, but it should somehow that these sort of like here should it'd look better if they went this way. Let's see here. So press here and press M and C for center, and we merge. And I guess we have to do the same here, and we press M, C for center. And now they sort of like go there. So this goes down here, and now there's a ton of points here. And I'm thinking here, now this goes here. This here, why does it continue here? Doesn't it just, oh, it's because I added, so let's see here. I went into, so let's press XF, L, XF, and I need to add the mirror modifier again. Mirror and clipping, and now this just goes to the middle here, and I should be able to select this line and just sort of like do like this and pull this down. And now to make this here extra disappear, I think I can press something like this. And now the question is what happens here. So I have this goes down here, this goes around here, and this goes around here. And what I think I want is for, I might be able to select this, and then this, go in here, and shift here, and press GG. And just somehow make things a bit better here for this stuff here, and save some polygons down here. And so we have to like smooth this. So now that looks somewhat better, and there isn't a sort of like as much crazy stretching here as before. And sort of like if I smooth this in, it starts looking nicer here also. So this sum total I think was the answer. And once you have built a mistake, then try really and put it into like the correct place and really move the polygons and see if because usually once you start moving stuff and placing things, you can sort of see where the errors are, if that makes sense. And I suppose we need to here. And it will let me just make this white here, so I can like see where I have added there. So that goes there, and if I need to, I can add more lines. So that was the answer that I needed. Here, let's see here, and so let's see. So anyway, this is sort of better for now, and I think captures the character quite well. And again, I could start pulling out the arms, but I want to do some really cool stuff with the arms for this character that I'm not really sure how that's gonna pan out yet. And I need to spend something like a video, several hours, trying to get the head right, because I don't know how to do that right now. And I can do it rather well, but not good enough. And I'll have to like see if I can like make sense of this. And for the let's just sort of like move it in just a little bit. So, and let's see, where do we want this? Yeah, I can, so like, I guess. So the reason that it doesn't smooth down the way it's supposed to is because I have too many points in the wrong places. So if I optimize the points, it should smooth down much better. And I have this rule where I don't like uneven numbers. So for instance, there's a line here that just goes crazy. I want to delete that. There's two lines that go here, and then there's there's a line that goes in here, and you can basically see this, this, and this. I want to try and do something about that and remove one of those, and it's going to be a little bit difficult because it goes all the way around, but I'm going to try and keep these loops. And then this loop here, I want to somehow delete and somehow make disappear, and start cleaning up the mesh, sort of like so it's rather clean loops everywhere, and that don't sort of like go around the character too much in crazy ways, where most of the loops sort of like, for instance, just do like this, goes sort of like in a simple way, or something like this. They form these sort of like rather fast half circles around the character. For instance here, these are like quite easy to work with and optimize. And then for instance here, where it just sort of like goes round and meets in the front, those are like usually quite easy to work with. There's also here and here, where certain loops, the way that this goes down down here, is quite important for capturing the cleavage when you smooth stuff and so on. But for now, this is like not a bad result, and I wanna also try and like bake the details from the high poly sculpt onto this. But I find it sometimes easier to build stuff, because when you can see the different colors, you can sort of like see if they have been placed correctly. For instance, here from the front, I can like start fine tuning and adjusting, and seeing that I want this to go down here. And then I want this to go just sort of like a bit more like this. You can start smoothing like this. And then it starts becoming obvious where it is that I have to like delete stuff. And for instance here, for now, I want this gray line here, this line between the dark green and the gray, to just sort of like go a bit more out here. And just, I can basically just sort of like see that visually because I have added these colors. And notice that when I smooth here, it creates this sort of like you can see it doesn't look that good here, and it creates this, you can see this sort of like a weird bump. It's because I haven't applied the mirror modifier. If you smooth after applying the mirror modifier, it sort of like looks much nicer usually. And again, you can just sort of like move this in a bit, and here. Yeah, just press X and G to switch between sort of like add stuff and sculpt stuff. And I can also like, let's do like this here, and click here, and what is it, dark gray here, just so oops, oh yeah, I added the mirror modifier. Now I need to do like this, and here. And let's just apply this. Yeah. So now I can basically start seeing that sort of like a little bit more easily visual. I can just sort of like make this go in a bit here and pull this out here, and then so like when this is sort of like good enough, and when I have a really good result, and for instance I know that I just want this to look like this instead, and we pull like a bit down. So like and these sort of like adding these colors to the different polygons really help in creating a much better like final result, you could say. So this is something like the character that I had in mind for the video game that I'm working on, and something like a tribute to Kristen Bell, or that AI image of that really cool actress, Kate Moss and Princess Mononoke. And let's see here. And what else? I think that what I want to do is I could add, to avoid more stretching here, some more like butt cheek, but it's because the low poly isn't the best. And I can also see, I want to check some of these loops tomorrow when I sculpt more. For instance, does it make sense that this goes down here? And that's all it does. And let's see here. So for now, this is like not bad, and it should look really good if I like bake normal map details to something like this. There's a nice amount of like anatomical details, but beyond a certain point, even if you want to, you just can't recreate the details you want with something like just smooth shading and like building stuff from polygons. You need to add a normal map to get something like the best definitive results. So this is like a rather good starting point. And also I can like see that there is something wrong here, where the size of these points here is quite small, but this here is, these are large, and then these are small, where I'm thinking that that adding that I need to add basically this, so it will start smoothing in to like the shape that I sort of like want, and to avoid all this sort of like stretching here. And let's just try and remove this cube, the under stuff here, and it sort of like starts to smooth into something like what I had in mind when I do that. And again, I want to check to make sure that, for instance, I have 4 lines here. Are these necessary? And then that I have all these lines here. There's 8 here, where I think that's not bad, but 4 could technically be more, like better. Then there's 4 here, and 2 there, and somehow it's not a bad amount, but it's just you can see that the squares here are rather large and they're rather small here. So I'm thinking that if I want to be a bit effective, I can try and move this down here, this down here, and this down here, and this sort of like makes a bit more sense, I think, for like, now you can see that the squares here are almost the same size as the squares here, and I have saved quite a few points here, and it's sort of like you won't benefit. For instance, on this flat surface here, all these points won't really be noticeable to the player. You want to save these points for the fingers and the hands and the details in the face, and some, like, if you want to add toes and stuff like that, and other stuff, but you don't want to waste, as it were, all these details just for the sake of it. And you can also see here that that somehow these here are like very closely spaced, and the squares are sort of like almost twice the size here, to somehow start some like saving polygons and placing these lines in a smart way. For instance, all these points that I gathered here, no matter how much you rotate around the character, you won't really see this from almost any angle, and it won't visually give any benefit to have all these points here. So it's better to like see if you can like optimize them and place them elsewhere. And for now this is acceptable, but this isn't a good amount of polygon details. No matter what you do, it almost doesn't add any details to the character. You want to, for instance, save these for more detailed features and the face and so on. But this isn't so bad that you'd have to like throw this 3D model away, but it is a little bit like of a prototype character that isn't useful for much more right now. And I think that's it. And then there's here where I want to see this stuff. Where does this go? This goes not bad. This also goes all the way around, and I'm not sure that's necessary. Where I'm thinking that it almost makes more sense if this goes here and then just sort of like curves in here and stops there. That's not gonna make the model look much worse. So I think I'm gonna try and do that as the last detail, and then I like need a break. And to do that, to do this here and move this here, and we press MC, MC, and then again move this here, and so like move this here, and then we hit MC to merge center. And for now we have this, we can just sort of like connect it here, but this isn't ideal, so now I just want to check. So I'm like constantly, you can say optimize. Well, let's see here. Whoops. Like why? Whoa, hey. Just gonna cancel this. Whoa, hey. So what was that? Wasn't it here? Here and here, here and here. So okay, so this goes here and then goes across here, and it should. Let's see here. Go here. XF. M. And center to merge at center. Just pull this down, just so like pull these points down, so roughly you so like, and then here, and we press MC, and that was here, right? So now that goes all the way here, So if I select this and this, why? Oh yeah, it's because I haven't added the mirror modifier. And we need to select this in the line here, press LXF, and we add the mirror modifier again, and clip link, and now these here go here, but there is some distortion here now where this goes all the way here, and the question is how I like, so we have this here, and I'm thinking that if I click this and this, and now the question is, I want this, where does this go? It goes all the way here. So, to delete this or not to delete this, and the answer is delete this. And what I want to do now to like keep track of this is I'm just gonna make this, let's make a new color, the error, let's make it, we can make it dark red, I guess, here, and we'll just do like this. So now we have this, and I want this to go here, and then I want to go here, and I can basically follow this edge now. I tend to forget all this stuff if I don't, and then here, so now we have all the way around here, and I want to be careful that I remove this, and now I press GG, and I just sort of like connect this, and I press XF, and there shouldn't be any issues there. So now I have these two here, and I can sort of click here, this goes here, there are three here, and I just and then here, and is there anything here? There is some sort of XF here, and I think that there was a pole here. What? This isn't what? Yeah, that wasn't supposed to go there. Oh, here, and here. Ugh, that was like all kinds of weird. And where do I? What? Here. So now this and this goes here, not bad, and this and this goes here. There's only 2 points here. This, okay, so this goes here, and the issue is I want this to go here. And how do I do? XF. And this just go down the arm, so I can like remove that later. So now we have disable snapping, and I can just all like extrude into free space, you can say, and then here and here and here and here and here, and now we apply this. So now this goes here, this goes here, just like have a bit more control over these points. This goes here, I can like make sure I want to do that later. So now this goes here, and that really goes all the way around the character, and that's not very effective or very good for like keeping, so like making it so like easy to like remove points. But this is like every once in a while you can somehow get some of these, and it doesn't matter that much. But it's just usually easier if things just sort of like have some rather short curves and sort of like finish like that. And I think that something like most of the curves, if you make 3D models, you want them to look like that, and not take too many polygons around the character, because it's somehow a nightmare to keep track of them and edit stuff and then optimize stuff if everything is like all over the place. So if you have, for instance, some loops here, then you will be able to, okay, I can just remove 4 loops here rather easily, for instance, and so on and so on and so on. And I want to do something about this stuff here, but I'm not sure what. And I'm thinking that, for instance, this goes down here and here. That this isn't technically necessary, and it's better if I remove these. So I'm gonna select this, and let's just do like this. And again, scroll this down, and just to somehow, because this is gonna sort of like look nice enough, and there's gonna be it's somehow gonna smooth into the final shape that I want. And it's starting to get like really good. The more or less everything. So let's just see where was the. That was not it. Here we go. Just all like. And so like nice and clean and not too many points. That's usually a good idea. But you also want to have like the necessary geometry so you can like bake the normal map and so on. That's technically how you should so like get a rather low amount of polygons for what you need and then just bake the details. And then also keep in mind that it has to be animated usually, and where some like it will have to like bend, and if you like want the character to move and look the texture is not to stretch too much, and so like things look nice when you try and animate a character, that's all like you wanna so like be careful that way. Things are like we were like almost like 2 hours now or something. And there's something here that isn't quite right, but I'm not sure how to like fix that right now. And I think the answer is that two of these lines here have to sort of like go up here and join here, so they don't all go in here, but more something like add here. Because it's all like the bump here is I don't need this many points basically to define it. So like for smooth here, I can always use the crease brush as it were to get something like the butt crack, as what you call it. And it's again easier after you apply the mirror modifier to do stuff like that. And then just sort of like Shift C, I think it is. I wish that was like it's one of like the brushes that you use, or like and I want to make this butt cheek area here better, but for now this is all like a good enough result. And from the side, I want this to be much more here. But I think the answer is that I want this to go here. These points to some like go here and disappear, and then a fewer points here, and start something like removing some like and get something like not too many polygons distributed really anywhere. And that's all of that. I think this is acceptable, and I want to cut down on polygons so I can like go a bit crazy on the details on the head and really capture some details there, because I like when it's like really detailed stuff, and also the fingers and the hands. I have some ideas for like making those really detailed, just for fun, and see if I can make that work. And that's sort of it. Let's go back here and yeah, thank you, bye.